What if everything we think we know about the universe is just the surface of something far stranger, far more mysterious? Picture standing at the edge of the cosmos, staring into the void, only to realize there are truths hidden in the darkness, truths that some scientists might not be rushing to share with the world. The universe is vast, ancient, and full of secrets, and what you've been taught about space, time, and reality itself might only scratch the surface. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 30 cosmic truths that could reshape how you see everything. Truths so startling, so unexpected, they'll make you question the very fabric of what we call science. Think about it. For centuries, humanity has gazed at the stars, believing we've uncovered their mysteries. We've mapped galaxies, decoded the laws of physics, and even sent probes beyond our solar system. But what if the real discoveries, the ones that defy logic, challenge our understanding, and hint at forces beyond our comprehension, are being kept just out of reach? What if the universe is whispering clues in ways we're only beginning to decipher? From anomalies in deep space that shouldn't exist to phenomena that break every rule we thought we knew, the cosmos is hiding more than we've been led to believe. This isn't just about questioning science, it's about uncovering the possibilities that lie beyond the textbooks. Over the next 30 revelations, we'll explore cosmic enigmas that range from the unsettling to the downright unbelievable. Why do some celestial events defy explanation? What lurks in the unexplored corners of the universe? And why aren't these mysteries front-page news? Buckle up, because this journey isn't for the faint of heart. By the time we're done, you'll see the stars and the silence surrounding them in a whole new light. The truth is out there, and it's time to bring it into the open. What if reality itself is nothing more than an elaborate illusion? An intricate simulation running on some unfathomable cosmic computer? This isn't science fiction anymore. Some of the brightest minds in physics secretly entertain the idea that our universe might be a digital construct, a hyper-advanced simulation crafted by an intelligence beyond our comprehension. Think about the eerie precision of the laws governing our cosmos, the mathematical elegance of gravity, the way particles behave differently when observed, even the unsettling feeling that something about reality just doesn't add up. These aren't just quirks of nature, they could be clues, glitches in the code of a simulated universe. Take quantum mechanics, for example. Particles existing in multiple states until measured, instant communication across vast distances. What if these bizarre behaviors aren't flaws in our understanding, but artifacts of a system optimized to render reality only when necessary? It's like a video game that doesn't load distant scenery until you look at it, conserving processing power. Even cosmic rays, high-energy particles raining down from space, sometimes act in ways that defy known physics, as if the simulation briefly stutters under the strain of calculating every single variable. Then there's the uncanny perfection of mathematics. The universe runs on equations so precise they feel engineered. From the exact strength of gravity to the speed of light, every fundamental force aligns with razor-thin margins that allow life to exist. Coincidence or calibration? Renowned scientists have openly debated this, arguing that the odds of such fine-tuning happening by chance are astronomically low. And yet, mainstream science often dismisses these anomalies as mere curiosities, refusing to follow the trail where it might lead. Why would this theory be kept quiet? Imagine the chaos if humanity learned we're living in someone else's experiment. Governments, religions, entire systems of belief could unravel overnight. But here's the real question: if we are in a simulation, who's running it? And more chillingly, are they watching us right now? But what if the greatest cosmic mystery, dark matter, isn't a natural phenomenon at all? Imagine a hidden civilization so advanced they've built megastructures on a galactic scale, structures so vast they bend the fabric of space itself. That's the spine-chilling possibility some researchers whisper about when it comes to dark matter. We can't see it, we can't touch it, yet it makes up nearly 85% of the universe's mass. Gravity behaves oddly around it, tugging at stars and galaxies in ways that defy conventional physics. But what if those gravitational anomalies aren't caused by invisible particles, but by something far more deliberate, something engineered? Take the idea of Dyson spheres, hypothetical constructs advanced civilizations might build to harness the energy of entire stars. Now picture millions of them, scattered like cosmic ghosts across the void, cloaked in technology so sophisticated it renders them undetectable to our instruments. These wouldn't just be floating power plants, they'd be the ultimate camouflage, hiding an interstellar society right under our noses. Some astronomers have even detected strange, flickering stars whose light dims in unnatural patterns, as if something massive and artificial is passing in front of them. Mainstream science chalks it up to dust clouds or planetary debris, but the data doesn't always fit. And then there are the places where dark matter seems to cluster galactic halos, cosmic filaments arranged almost like a network, a hidden infrastructure woven through the cosmos. Coincidence or design? The math suggests these structures are too precise, too evenly distributed to be random. Yet when researchers propose alternative explanations, like the possibility of alien megastructures, they're often met with silence or dismissal. The establishment clings to the idea of WIMP, weakly interacting massive particles, because it's safer, more palatable. But what if we're ignoring the evidence because it's too unsettling to accept? Here's the real question. If dark matter is alien technology, what are they hiding from us or something else? The universe is old, nearly 14 billion years. Plenty of time for civilizations to rise, fall, and leave behind relics we're only now beginning to misinterpret. Maybe dark matter isn't a mystery to be solved, but a message, one we're not yet advanced enough to decode. And if that's true, then every telescope, every deep space scan might be brushing against the edges of a truth we're not supposed to see. The moon, our closest celestial neighbor, the silent guardian of Earth's nights, might not be what it seems. While we're taught it formed from a cosmic collision billions of years ago, there are unsettling inconsistencies that suggest something far more deliberate. Start with its orbit, mathematically perfect, a circle so precise it defies natural probability. No other moon in the solar system behaves like ours. It doesn't spin chaotically or drift unevenly. Instead, it locks one face permanently toward Earth as if positioned. Then there's the fact that its size and distance create near-perfect solar eclipses, an astronomical coincidence so precise it borders on impossible. But the strangeness goes deeper. During the Apollo missions, seismic equipment left on the moon recorded something shocking when lunar modules or meteorites struck the surface. The entire moon resonated like a bell, sometimes for hours. Natural satellites don't do that. Rocks vibrate briefly, then settle. A hollow structure, however, that rings. Some classified NASA documents, allegedly leaked over the years, hint at internal cavities beneath the lunar surface, vast, geometric spaces that don't match the expected composition of a rocky body. If true, it would mean the moon isn't just oddly placed, it's engineered. Then there are the anomalous materials. Lunar soil contains metals like brass and mica, substances that don't form naturally under the moon's conditions. Apollo astronauts also reported encountering strange, glass-like structures on the surface, as if something had melted and reformed in unnatural patterns. Even more telling, certain areas of the moon emit localized magnetic fields, despite the moon having no global magnetosphere. How? Unless something beneath the surface, something artificial, is generating those fields. Why would this be kept quiet? Imagine the implications. If the moon is an artifact, who put it there? Ancient civilizations, extraterrestrials, and for what purpose? Observation, stabilization of Earth's climate, or something far more inscrutable? NASA's sudden shift away from lunar missions after Apollo, the abrupt classification of certain findings, it all starts to make a troubling kind of sense. The moon might be the oldest, most carefully hidden secret in human history, hanging above us every night, watching. The real question isn't whether it's artificial, it's why someone wanted it there in the first place. Mars might have been Earth's twin, once a thriving world with flowing rivers, vast oceans, and possibly even a civilization that vanished long before humans walked our own planet. The evidence isn't just speculative, it's buried in decades of NASA images, rover data, and classified reports that hint at structures too precise, too geometric, to be mere tricks of light and shadow. Take the face on Mars, first photographed by Viking 1 in 1976. A mile-wide formation resembling a humanoid visage, complete with symmetrical eyes, a nose, and a mouth, stared back at us from the Cydonia region. Scientists dismissed it as a play of shadows, but enhancements and subsequent images revealed startling detail and angular, almost artificial symmetry. And then there are the pyramids nearby, arranged in mathematical formations eerily similar to Earth's Giza complex. Coincidence? The odds defy logic. But the anomalies don't stop there. Over the years, rovers like Curiosity and Opportunity have captured images of what appear to be crumbling walls, arched doorways, even what look like fragments of statues half buried in the dust. Some of these photos were released to the public, only to vanish from official archives days later, labeled as data corruption or imaging errors. One particularly revealing snapshot showed a slab of rock with what resembles carved symbols unnervingly close to ancient cuneiform. Another captured a metallic-looking protrusion, too smooth and angular to be natural stone. Yet whenever these images gain attention, they're hastily debunked or scrubbed from official channels. Then there's the mystery of Mars' missing water. We know it once had oceans, but where did they go? Mainstream science points to evaporation and solar winds, but what if something or someone accelerated the process? Ancient texts on Earth speak of celestial wars, of gods wielding fire from the heavens. Could Mars have been the battleground? The planet's surface is littered with glass-like formations, as if sand had been flash-melted by unimaginable heat. Exactly what you'd expect from a global cataclysm, whether natural or engineered. The most unsettling part, some of the best-preserved structures are clustered near what appears to be the remains of a massive, circular depression, almost like a crater, but with geometric patterns radiating outward. If Mars once hosted intelligence, did they leave behind ruins as a warning, or were they erased before they could? Every rover sent there seems to avoid these areas deliberately, their routes programmed to skirt the most intriguing sites. Is it coincidence or curation? The red planet's secrets are buried in plain sight, waiting for someone to dig deeper. But will we be allowed to find them? We've been taught the sun is just a ball of burning gas, the engine of our solar system. But what if it's something far stranger? Decades of satellite footage and classified heliophysics data hint at a possibility so staggering it redefines our place in the cosmos. The sun might not just be a star. It could be a portal, a gateway for entities moving between dimensions, and the evidence has been hiding in plain sight. Start with the anomalies. Solar observatories have captured unexplained structures in the sun's coronum, massive cylindrical objects dwarfing Earth, lingering near the surface before vanishing. These aren't camera glitches. Some appear to move against the solar wind, as if guided by intelligence. Then there are the plasma beings, fleeting shapes caught by NASA SOHO satellite figures resembling winged entities or vast, luminous serpents writhing in the sun's outer layers. Mainstream science labels them solar prominences or magnetic disturbances, but the patterns are too organized, too deliberate. Ancient cultures didn't just worship the sun as a god, they described it as a door, a bridge between realms. Could they have known something we've forgotten? Even more unsettling is how the sun behaves like a tuned frequency. Heliosismology reveals it emits sound waves at frequencies that align eerily with sacred harmonics found in Earth's oldest temples. Coincidence or a signal? Some researchers argue the sun's vibrations aren't random, they're a form of communication, or worse, a beacon. And then there's the baffling coronal heating problem. The sun's outer atmosphere is millions of degrees hotter than its surface, defying every known law of thermodynamics. Unless, of course, that heat isn't natural, unless something inside or beyond is pulsing energy through it like a cosmic door left ajar. Why the silence? Official heliophysics papers dismiss these phenomena as artifacts of observation, but leaked documents reveal a different story. Insiders whisper about protocols for anomalous solar transients, classified projects analyzing non-random plasma intelligence. The most chilling detail: certain deep space probes were allegedly reprogrammed to avoid pointing directly at the sun during key solar events. If the sun is just a ball of gas, why the secrecy? The truth might be staring us in the face every morning, a glowing sentinel, not just lighting our world but watching it. The real question isn't whether the sun is a portal. It's what's waiting on the other side. Black holes aren't just cosmic vacuum cleaners, they might be the universe's most ancient time machines. Hidden within Einstein's equations lies a terrifying possibility. These gravitational monsters don't just bend space, they twist time itself into knots. Imagine falling toward the event horizon, where gravity stretches seconds into years, where the fabric of reality warps so violently that the past, present, and future blur into one. This isn't science fiction. Declassified documents reveal that as early as the 1960s, governments were secretly funding research into black holes as potential time portals. Even NASA, more recent studies quietly admit that certain black hole geometries could create closed time-like curves, theoretical pathways allowing travel backward through time. But here's where it gets stranger. In 2012, a team of physicists simulated what would happen if a spacecraft entered a rapidly spinning black hole. The math showed something startling: the ship wouldn't just be crushed. Under precise conditions, it could emerge in another time entirely, like a cosmic subway stop linking distant eras. The catch: you'd need a black hole spinning near the speed of light, and you'd have to survive forces that shred atoms. Yet classified experiments from the Cold War era hint that someone might have tried. Leaked Soviet archives mention Project Kronos, an alleged attempt to manipulate spacetime using high-energy plasma torus rings technology eerily similar to the accretion disks swirling around black holes. The real shock comes from Einstein's own work. His theory of general relativity never ruled out time travel, it practically predicted it. Black holes, with their infinite density and space-time warping gravity, are the ultimate loophole. Even Stephen Hawking once conceded that advanced civilizations might exploit them as temporal highways, though he famously bet against it with his chronology protection conjecture, a hope that the universe would somehow prevent paradoxes. But what if it doesn't? What if black holes are already being used by something or someone else? Unexplained gamma-ray bursts, patterns in cosmic background radiation that resemble coded signals, even odd gravitational waves that don't match any known celestial event. All these could be footprints of time travelers altering history. The most chilling part: if time travel via black holes is possible, we'd never know who's already tampering with our timeline. The evidence would be erased before it happened. Maybe it already has been. The universe keeps its secrets well, especially the ones hidden in plain sight, disguised as natural phenomena. The question isn't whether black holes can manipulate time, it's whether we're meant to find out before it's too late. Earth's magnetic field, our invisible shield against deadly cosmic radiation, is flickering like a dying light bulb, and the implications could rewrite human history. While NASA assures the public that this weakening is just part of a natural cycle, classified data and ancient records tell a far darker story. Our planet's magnetic poles aren't just drifting, they're preparing to flip, an event that could plunge civilization into chaos. Satellite measurements reveal the magnetosphere has lost nearly 10% of its strength over the past century, with the most dramatic drops clustered around the South Atlantic anomaly, a vast zone where solar particles now penetrate deeper than ever before. Airline crews flying over this region report bizarre instrument malfunctions, while astronauts aboard the ISS witness unexplained flashes of light, direct evidence of radiation breaching our thinning shield. But here's what they're not telling you. Geologic records show that when the poles last flipped roughly 780,000 years ago, it coincided with mass extinctions and abrupt climate shifts. Ancient cultures seem to anticipate this. The Hopi spoke of a time when the sky would twist, while Hindu texts described cosmic rebalancing events called yugas marked by magnetic upheavals. Even more chilling, recent core samples from volcanic rock reveal that during past reversals, the magnetic field didn't just weaken, it temporarily vanished for centuries, leaving Earth exposed to unfiltered solar storms. A single Carrington-level solar flare under those conditions could fry global power grids, collapse satellite networks, and thrust humanity back into a pre-industrial nightmare overnight. The real cover-up lies in the gaps. NASA public models predict a gradual reversal over millennia, but leaked internal reports warn of non-linear collapse scenarios where the field could destabilize within decades. Russian scientists have openly challenged Western data, pointing to anomalies like the rapid migration of the North Pole, now racing toward Siberia at 55 kilometers per year, triple the speed recorded in the 1990s. Meanwhile, deep underground, Earth's liquid iron core, the engine of our magnetic field, is behaving erratically. Seismic tomography reveals turbulent jets of molten metal surging in unexpected directions, as if something is disrupting the planet's internal dynamo. The question isn't whether the poles will flip, it's what happens when they do. Declassified Cold War-era studies labeled Operation Shield explored crude ways to artificially bolster the magnetosphere, while modern billionaires are quietly investing in underground arcologies. Perhaps they know what's coming. Solar activity is intensifying, and the next magnetic reversal might not be a slow geological process, but a violent snap, one that could leave humanity exposed to the cosmos' wrath for generations. The ancients warned us, the rocks warn us. The only question left is whether we're listening. Some stars don't just flicker, they blink in ways that defy every law of astrophysics, as if something vast and artificial is moving deliberately across their light. Take Tabby's star, officially catalogued as KIC 8462852. When astronomers first noticed its bizarre dimming pattern, sudden, irregular drops in brightness by up to 22%, they scrambled for natural explanations, cometary swarms, interstellar debris, anything but the unsettling alternative. Because what they found wasn't just unusual, it was architectural. The star's light curves matched precisely what you'd expect if a colossal megastructure, something like a partial Dyson sphere, were orbiting it in pieces, harvesting its energy. The data was so alarming that mainstream science defaulted to the safest possible interpretation. Dust, not ordinary dust, but a hypothetical circumstellar dust cloud, so finely tuned it mimicked the signature of rotating artificial panels. But here's the catch: no known natural phenomenon causes starlight to dim in such jagged, geometric patterns. Dust disperses light smoothly. Machines, though, they cast hard shadows. Independent analyzers revealed something even stranger. Tabby's star isn't alone. Over 100 similar anomalies now pepper our galaxy, each with light patterns suggesting deliberate obstruction. Yet SETI, the organization supposedly dedicated to finding extraterrestrial intelligence, remains eerily silent, dismissing these as instrument noise or unresolved stellar activity. Why the hesitation? Because confirming even one alien megastructure would shatter humanity's cosmic isolation. Imagine a civilization so advanced it doesn't just build cities, it dismantles stars for fuel. The energy output of a single Dyson sphere would dwarf our entire planetary consumption by a factor of trillions. That's not just a scientific revelation, it's a psychological detonation. Governments fear panic, religious institutions dread existential crises, and so the establishment falls back on comfortable, incomplete theories even when the math doesn't add up. Meanwhile, new candidates keep emerging. In 2021, the Gaia Space Telescope flagged a star in the Milky Way's halo that dims in precise 90-day cycles, as if something with the surface area of a gas giant passes in front of it on a schedule. Then there's EPIC 246393176, a star whose light patterns suggest not just one megastructure, but a swarm of them moving in coordinated formations. Natural explanations crumble under scrutiny. Dust clouds don't maintain perfect orbital synchronization. Asteroids don't arrange themselves into hexagons. The most damning evidence comes from our own history. In 1960, physicist Freeman Dyson first proposed these spheres as theoretical alien power grids. Decades later, we're finding stars that match his predictions to the letter. Yet when researchers broach the possibility of intelligence at work, funding dries up. Papers are rejected, careers stall. The truth isn't just hidden in distant starlight, it's buried under layers of institutional resistance. The universe might be teeming with builders, and we're being trained not to see them. The real question isn't whether these structures exist, it's who decides what we're allowed to discover. We've been told the universe began with a bang, an explosive instant of creation, a singularity bursting into existence. But what if the Big Bang never happened at all? Hidden behind the textbooks and glossy documentaries, a growing number of physicists are whispering about a far stranger possibility. Our cosmos might have no beginning, no end, just an endless cycle of rebirth. The Big Bang Theory, for all its popularity, is riddled with cracks, mathematical inconsistencies, observational anomalies, and entire aspects of reality it fails to explain. And some researchers claim these aren't just gaps in our knowledge, they're evidence we've been sold a cosmic fairy tale. Take the horizon problem. The Big Bang model predicts that distant regions of the universe should never have interacted, yet they share identical temperatures as if they were once intimately connected. Mainstream cosmologists hand-wave this away with inflation, a hypothetical period of faster-than-light expansion. But even inflation can't fully explain the uniformity without resorting to wild, unproven assumptions. Then there's the missing antimatter. The Big Bang should have created equal parts matter and antimatter, annihilating everything in a flash of pure energy. So why does our universe exist at all? The official answer: we don't know. But there are other theories, ones you won't hear in classrooms. Eternal inflation suggests our universe is just one bubble in an infinite, frothing multiverse, where new universes constantly bud off from old ones, each with its own unique physics. No singular beginning, just an endless cascade of cosmic births. Even more radical is the cyclic universe model, where the cosmos expands and contracts in an eternal loop, collapsing into a near singularity before rebounding in a new bang. This isn't fringe speculation. Nobel laureate Roger Penrose has spent years gathering evidence of Hawking points, mysterious imprints in the cosmic microwave background that could be echoes of a previous universe's black holes. The censorship runs deeper. In 2005, a peer-reviewed paper titled "The Big Bang Never Happened" was abruptly retracted despite passing initial scrutiny. Its author, a respected astrophysicist, later claimed pressure from senior colleagues who warned it would disrupt funding priorities. Another team studying anomalies in cosmic background radiation found their telescope time mysteriously revoked after their data contradicted standard Big Bang predictions. The establishment clings to the Big Bang not because it's flawless, but because it's familiar, a comforting origin story in a universe that might prefer chaos. The truth: our cosmos might be far older, far weirder than we've been led to believe. ancient Hindu texts described a universe breathing in and out for eternity. Modern equations hint at the same. The real question isn't whether the Big Bang happened, it's why we're so desperate to believe it did. Deep in the outer reaches of our solar system, something massive stirs, an unseen force warping the paths of distant worlds, tugging at the fabric of our cosmic neighborhood with invisible fingers. Astronomers call these gravitational anomalies calibration errors, but the math tells a different story. For decades, telescopes have picked up strange perturbations in the orbits of Neptune and Uranus, movements that defy the predictable rhythms of celestial mechanics. The discrepancies are too large to ignore, yet too inconvenient to acknowledge. Enter Planet X, a hypothetical world lurking beyond the Kuiper belt, so distant it's remained hidden in the gloom, yet so massive its presence echoes through the motions of every planet it shadows. The clues are written in the trajectories of so-called detached objects, icy bodies like Sedna and 2012 VP 113, which orbit the Sun at extreme angles as if yanked by an unseen hand. Then there's the peculiar tilt of the solar system itself. The planets don't align perfectly with the Sun's equator. They're skewed by roughly 6 degrees, a misalignment that suggests the gravitational pull of something massive we've yet to find. Early astronomers predicted Neptune's existence based on Uranus wobbles. Now, the same logic points to something far larger and potentially far stranger lurking in the dark. Officially, NASA maintains that these anomalies are artifacts of incomplete data or instrument glitches, but leaked internal documents reveal a different narrative. In 2016, Caltech researchers Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown published findings suggesting a planet roughly 10 times Earth's mass could explain the orbital oddities. Their simulations showed it might orbit once every 15,000 years, swinging so far into the abyss that our telescopes struggle to spot it. The media dubbed it Planet 9, but ancient texts whisper an older name, Nibiru, the rogue world of Sumerian lore, said to return cyclically with catastrophic consequences. The cover-up goes deeper. Infrared surveys like WISE, the Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer, have mapped nearly the entire sky, yet certain datasets remain classified. Independent astronomers analyzing public data have flagged unexplained heat signatures in the outer solar system, blips that vanish when scrutiny intensifies. Even more telling, probes like New Horizons were allegedly reprogrammed mid-mission to avoid pointing their cameras in certain directions, as if something out there was deemed off-limits. Why the secrecy? If Planet X is real, its discovery would rewrite astronomy textbooks overnight. But if it's Nibiru, a world tied to doomsday myths, the truth might be deemed too destabilizing to reveal. The real question isn't whether something's out there, it's why we're not being allowed to see it. What if the universe isn't just whispering, it's screaming at us in a language we're only beginning to recognize? Cosmic rays, those high-energy particles streaking across space at nearly the speed of light, might be more than random debris from supernovas or black holes. Buried within their erratic patterns could be a code, a deliberate signal from civilizations so advanced, they've turned the fabric of reality itself into a communication network. The numbers tell a disturbing story. In 2017, astrophysicists at the University of Hawaii detected a cosmic ray with an energy level of 240 exa-electron volts, the most powerful particle ever recorded. It shouldn't exist under current physics models, yet when researchers traced its path, they found no obvious source, no quasar, no gamma-ray burst, just empty space. As if it had been sent, the anomalies don't stop there. Certain cosmic rays arrive in clusters, their energies mathematically synchronized like notes in a cosmic melody. Others pulse at intervals that mirror prime numbers, a telltale signature of artificial encoding, since nature rarely produces such precise sequences without intelligence behind it. Even stranger, some particles seem to remember their journey, exhibiting quantum behaviors that suggest they were altered mid-flight, as if carrying encrypted data. When independent researchers proposed these patterns might be signals, major labs like CERN abruptly shut down further analysis, citing lack of funding or irrelevance to standard physics. Yet leaked emails from a former CERN technician revealed discussions about anomalous modulation in cosmic ray data, patterns that were non-random to a confidence level of 99.9%. The files were later classified. History offers eerie parallels. In the 1960s, Soviet astrophysicists secretly experimented with cosmic rays as a potential communication channel, believing advanced civilizations might use them as interstellar Morse code. Their project, dubbed Zarya, was abandoned overnight after detecting repeating pulses from the direction of the Pleiades star cluster. Official reports blamed equipment malfunction, but declassified memos admitted the signals were structured beyond natural explanation. Decades later, when a team at the University of California tried to revive similar research, their equipment mysteriously failed during critical tests. Coincidence or censorship? Mainstream science dismisses the idea, insisting cosmic rays are chaotic byproducts of cosmic violence. But consider this: if you wanted to send a message across galaxies, wouldn't you use particles that travel unimpeded through dust clouds, magnetic fields, and even time itself? Cosmic rays permeate everything, penetrating planets and passing through living tissue. They're the ultimate cosmic Wi-Fi, and if someone or something is using them to communicate, the implications are terrifying. Every second, trillions of these particles rain down on Earth, potentially carrying instructions, warnings, or something we can't even comprehend. The real question isn't whether cosmic rays are messages. It's who's been trying to reach us and why we're not allowed to listen. We've been taught the speed of light is the universe's ultimate speed limit, an unbreakable law etched into the fabric of reality. But what if that's nothing more than a carefully maintained illusion? Buried in classified military experiments and overlooked physics papers lies shocking evidence that faster-than-light travel isn't just possible, it's already been achieved. And the implications could rewrite everything we know about time, space, and the true nature of the cosmos. Take the infamous Podkletnov experiment. In the 1990s, Russian scientist Eugene Podkletnov claimed to have discovered a revolutionary anti-gravity effect using rotating superconductors. When exposed to electromagnetic fields, these superconducting disks reportedly reduced the weight of objects above them by up to 2%, a violation of known physics. But the real shock came when independent researchers attempted to replicate the setup. Some observed anomalies in the propagation of laser beams near the apparatus, suggesting localized distortions in spacetime itself. Even more startling, certain configurations appeared to produce brief bursts of propagation speed exceeding light by orders of magnitude. The findings were dismissed as measurement errors, but whispers persisted that Podkletnov had stumbled onto something far more profound, a way to warp space, effectively sidestepping Einstein's speed limit. Then there's the work of German physicist Burkhard Heim. In the 1950s, Heim proposed a radical unified field theory suggesting that advanced civilizations could manipulate gravitational and electromagnetic fields to create propulsion systems requiring no fuel. His math, suppressed for decades, predicted that such technology wouldn't just defy Newtonian physics. It would allow for apparent faster-than-light travel by bending the fabric of reality. Declassified documents reveal NASA and DARPA secretly funded Heim's research until his death, with one internal memo speculating that his equations could unlock interstellar traversal within our lifetime. The smoking gun, the so-called warp bubble experiments. In 2021, researchers at the Advanced Propulsion Physics Laboratory controversially claimed to have generated microscopic spacetime distortions using precise arrangements of electromagnetic fields. Peer review was swift and brutal. The paper was retracted amid accusations of flawed methodology. Yet insiders later leaked that subsequent tests under military supervision achieved similar results, with one classified report describing anomalous photon tunneling velocities, consistent with brief faster-than-light propagation. The Pentagon's abrupt declassification of UFO footage around the same time wasn't a coincidence. Those erratic, physics-defying movements, instant acceleration, right-angle turns at thousands of miles per hour, match exactly what you'd expect from craft manipulating space-time rather than fighting gravity. Why bury this? Because admitting light speed isn't absolute unravels modern physics at its core. It opens doors to technologies that would render current energy and transportation systems obsolete overnight. More chillingly, it suggests someone perhaps not human has already mastered these principles. Ancient texts speak of Vimanas, celestial chariots powered by Mercury vortex engines. Modern UFO encounters describe crafts that vanish in midair, as if slipping between dimensions. The math, the myths, and the military's own secrets all point to one terrifying conclusion. We're not just being lied to about the speed of light. We're being kept in the dark about who or what is already breaking the rules. What if every decision you've ever made spawned another version of you living in a world just slightly or drastically different? The idea of parallel universes isn't just science fiction anymore. Buried in classified CERN documents and hushed academic circles, evidence is mounting that our reality might be one thread in an infinite cosmic tapestry, with other worlds brushing against ours in ways that leave undeniable and unsettling traces. Take the Mandela effect, those bizarre collective memories where thousands swear Nelson Mandela died in prison during the 1980s, or that the Monopoly man wore a monocle he never did. Mainstream explanations chalk it up to faulty memory, but the consistency of these false memories across unrelated individuals suggests something far stranger. What if these aren't mistakes at all, but fleeting glimpses of alternate realities where events did unfold differently? Declassified CERN studies hint that high-energy particle collisions might briefly tear microscopic holes in spacetime, creating temporary bridges between dimensions. One leaked report even codenamed these phenomena reality echoes, describing them as residual data from neighboring universes bleeding into our own. The fear isn't theoretical. In 2012, CERN then Chief Scientific Officer Sergio Bertolucci made a cryptic off-record statement to journalists admitting that the Large Hadron Collider could open doors to another dimension. His words were swiftly walked back, but internal memos later surfaced discussing protocols for anomalous dimensional feedback, including emergency shutdown procedures if sensors detected unexpected topological displacements during experiments. The implications are staggering. If CERN collisions can poke holes between realities, what or who might notice? Governments have quietly prepared for this possibility. The Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, better known for its UFO investigations, allegedly allocated a black budget to study interdimensional intrusion scenarios. Witnesses from the program described classified briefings where theoretical physicists warned of adjacent civilizations with technology capable of crossing dimensional boundaries. Even more chilling, some of these briefings referenced historical events like the infamous 1952 Washington, D.C. UFO flyover as potential cases of transdimensional incursion. Then there's the math. Quantum mechanics has long suggested parallel universes through the many worlds interpretation, where every possible outcome of every event spawns a new timeline. But recent breakthroughs in string theory propose something even wilder, that these alternate realities might be stacked like pages in a book, separated by infinitesimal gaps in higher dimensional space. Experimental data from gravitational wave detectors has even picked up faint echoes that some physicists argue could be collisions between our universe and a neighboring one. Mainstream journals refuse to publish these findings, dismissing them as instrumental artifacts, but the researchers behind them insist the patterns are too precise to ignore. The real cover-up isn't about hiding parallel worlds, it's about controlling the narrative, admitting that reality is porous, that other versions of history exist just beyond our reach, would unravel the stability of institutions built on a single objective truth. Religions, governments, even scientific dogma rely on the assumption that our world is the only world, but the cracks are showing. From phantom particles appearing and vanishing in detectors to entire groups remembering events that never happened, the universe is hinting that we're not alone, not just in space, but in our own dimensional backyard. The question isn't whether parallel universes exist, it's how long we can keep pretending they don't. Beyond the orbits of Neptune and Pluto, stretching nearly a light year into the frozen darkness, lies the Oort cloud, a vast shell of icy debris often dismissed as just the birthplace of comets. But what if this distant graveyard holds far darker secrets? Some of these frozen wanderers don't move like natural objects. Their trajectories twist unnervingly as if something or someone once guided them. Astronomers tracking long-period comets have noticed anomalies, sudden speed changes, sharp angular turns, even clusters of objects moving in synchronized patterns that defy gravitational logic. The standard explanation, outgassing, where melting ice alters a comet's path, yet the math doesn't always add up. The forces needed to produce these maneuvers would vaporize most comets entirely. Unless, of course, they're not just chunks of ice. Consider the case of Comet Borisov, the first known interstellar visitor after Oumuamua. Unlike typical comets, Borisov emitted carbon monoxide at rates wildly inconsistent with solar heating, almost as if its composition had been artificially altered. Even stranger, spectral analysis revealed traces of metallic isotopes arranged in layered patterns, structures more reminiscent of manufactured alloys than natural space rock. Mainstream journals dismissed the findings as contamination, but classified defense telescopes had already locked onto Borisov weeks before its public discovery, tracking it with unusual interest. The unspoken fear that it might not be a comet at all, but a derelict artifact drifting from a war fought long ago in a star system we'll never see. Legends from antiquity hint at cataclysms beyond Earth. The Mahabharata describes battles fought with celestial weapons that boiled oceans and shattered continents. Could the Oort cloud be the cosmic equivalent of a battlefield aftermath, littered with the wreckage of civilizations that annihilated each other millennia before humans carved their first tools? Some of its most enigmatic objects, like Sedna, orbit at angles so extreme they seem flung there deliberately, like debris from an explosion. Others, like the so-called alien megacomet Bernardinelli-Bernstein, are far larger than standard models predict, with densities suggesting hollow interiors or embedded metallic cores. The silence from official channels is deafening. When independent researchers petitioned to point the James Webb Space Telescope at specific Oort cloud anomalies, their requests were denied due to prioritization of exoplanet studies. Yet leaked internal memos from the European Space Agency reveal active monitoring of non-gravitational perturbations among distant comets, with one redacted section speculating about potential artificial origin scenarios. The truth might be frozen in time out there, a graveyard of lost empires, their wars long over, their ruins disguised as ice. All it would take is one close-up glimpse to shatter our cosmic solitude forever. The question isn't whether the Oort cloud hides remnants of alien history. It's who's ensuring we don't look too closely. Time doesn't flow the way we perceive it, at least not according to the secret experiments buried in classified quantum physics studies. We've been conditioned to think of time as a straight line, past, present, future, an unbroken arrow moving in one direction. But at the quantum level, time behaves more like a tangled web where cause and effect can reverse, and events might not happen in any fixed order at all. This isn't just theoretical. In labs around the world, particles have been observed influencing each other across time, with measurements in the present altering outcomes that technically already happened. The implications are staggering. If time isn't linear, then free will, destiny, even the nature of reality itself might be nothing but a carefully constructed illusion. The most chilling evidence comes from declassified CIA files. Project Stargate, the US government's decades-long investigation into psychic phenomena, didn't just dabble in remote viewing, it proved precognition under controlled conditions. Operatives accurately described future events with statistically impossible accuracy, from Soviet missile launches to the locations of hidden hostages. The real bombshell, these weren't vague hunches. In one declassified trial, a subject sketched the exact layout of a building that wouldn't be constructed for another 3 years, down to the placement of furniture. The CIA's conclusion was blunt. Time, as conventionally understood, is not the fundamental framework of reality. Then the program was abruptly shuttered, its findings locked away. Mainstream physics skirts the issue because the truth is too destabilizing. If time is malleable, then everything from criminal justice to financial markets hinges on a lie, the lie that the future is unwritten. Quantum experiments like the delayed choice quantum eraser have shown that particles can retroactively change their behavior based on future observations. It's as if the universe is a script constantly being rewritten, with us none the wiser. Even Einstein's equations allow for closed time-like curves, theoretical pathways where time loops back on itself. The math works, the experiments confirm it, so why the silence? Because society runs on the myth of linear time. Courts punish based on irreversible actions. Governments plan for hypothetical futures. The entire structure of human civilization assumes that yesterday is fixed and tomorrow is uncertain. Admitting otherwise risks chaos. So the establishment clings to Newton's clockwork universe, even as quantum labs churn out data that obliterates it. The greatest cosmic truth isn't that time is an illusion, it's that we've been ordered to ignore it. The past, present, and future might all be happening at once, and we're just puppets convinced we're pulling our own strings. Beneath the icy shell of Jupiter's moon, Europa, lies an ocean, twice the volume of all Earth's seas combined, and it might be teeming with life. While NASA publicly touts Europa as one of the most promising places to find extraterrestrial biology behind closed doors, missions to explore its surface face inexplicable delays, budget cuts, and sudden redirections. The reason? Whistleblowers claim the agency already knows what's down there, and they're terrified of what the world might see. Europa's frozen crust, crisscrossed with mysterious reddish streaks, hides a liquid saltwater ocean kept warm by the moon's constant gravitational kneading from Jupiter. Tidal forces create hydrothermal vents on the seafloor, much like those on Earth where life thrives in utter darkness. The conditions are so ideal that even mainstream scientists admit Europa could host microbial ecosystems or something far more complex. Yet every time a probe gets close, something goes wrong. The Galileo mission in the 1990s captured enigmatic images of Europa's surface, including what appeared to be vast geometric patterns beneath the ice, structures too symmetrical to be natural. When researchers pushed for higher resolution scans, the probe was abruptly redirected to study Jupiter's less controversial moons. Years later, leaked internal emails revealed heated debates about anomalous surface features and whether they should be classified. Then there's the Clipper mission, Europa's long-awaited dedicated orbiter, delayed repeatedly despite being labeled a top priority. Officially, the hold-ups are blamed on technical challenges, but insiders whisper about disagreements over what instruments to include specifically, whether to equip it with high-powered radar capable of peering deep beneath the ice. Former JPL engineer James Rowland once publicly accused NASA of deliberately omitting key sensors, stating, "They don't want to see what's under there because once they do, the game changes forever." The most damning evidence comes from Galileo's suppressed data. Enhanced images of Europa's ice plains reveal what some researchers insist are massive, angular shapes looming beneath the surface, towering pillars, sprawling archways, even what looks like the silhouette of a colossal, sunken dome. Skeptics dismiss these as pixel artifacts or ice formations, but the patterns repeat too consistently to ignore. One particularly chilling shot, labeled Europa Frame E12-89, shows a cluster of pillared structures arranged in a near-perfect hexagonal array, eerily resembling the ruins of an ancient alien city. The frame was quietly pulled from public archives in 2005, only to resurface years later in a whistleblower's trove of classified documents. NASA's official stance is that Europa's secrets require careful, methodical study, but the delays feel less like caution and more like containment. If life exists there, it wouldn't just be bacteria. The ocean's depth and energy could sustain organisms far beyond our imagination. Even intelligent ones evolved in total isolation. Worse, if those structures are real, who or what built them? Europa's ice is over 15 miles thick in places, meaning anything beneath it would have been there for eons, undisturbed, until now. The real question isn't whether Europa hides life. It's what happens when we finally peel back the ice and find it staring back. What if the universe isn't just a cold, empty void, but a vast, thinking entity, awake and aware on a scale we can barely comprehend? This isn't fantasy, it's panpsychism, the radical idea that consciousness isn't confined to brains but is woven into the fabric of reality itself. Imagine every star, every atom, even the vacuum of space humming with some form of awareness, not as we know it, but as something far more ancient and alien. The clues have been hiding in plain sight, buried in the very experiments meant to prove how the universe works. Take the double-slit experiment, the crown jewel of quantum mechanics. When scientists fire particles at a barrier with two slits, they behave like waves unless someone observes them. The moment a detector is turned on, the particles suddenly choose to act like discrete objects. This isn't just weird physics, it's as if reality reshapes itself based on whether it's being watched. Nobel laureate Eugene Wigner took this further, proposing that consciousness itself causes the wave function to collapse. In other words, the universe might not solidify into a definite state until a mind perceives it. The implications are staggering. Without observation, reality remains a blur of possibilities. With it, the cosmos snaps into focus, almost as if it's waiting for us to look. Even more unsettling are recent experiments with quantum entanglement, where particles separated by vast distances instantly mirror each other's states. No signal travels between them, they just know. Mainstream science calls this non-locality, but panpsychists argue it's evidence of a deeper, interconnected awareness, a cosmic internet of consciousness where everything is in silent communication. The universe isn't just governed by laws, it might be responding to them like a living thing adjusting its breath. Why is this theory suppressed? Because it shatters the materialist worldview. If consciousness is fundamental, not emergent, then rocks, planets, even black holes might possess some dim form of experience. Ancient traditions from Buddhism to indigenous cosmologies have whispered this for millennia. Now cutting-edge physics is catching up quietly. Papers exploring panpsychism are often rejected from major journals, their authors sidelined as fringe. Yet private institutes funded by tech billionaires and defense contractors are pouring millions into consciousness research, searching for ways to harness or defend against what they suspect is a sentient universe. The most haunting question isn't whether the cosmos is alive, it's whether it's been watching us back all along. Every time you look at the stars, they might be looking right through you. Witnesses describe them appearing out of thin air UFOs spinning into visibility from nowhere, executing impossible maneuvers, then vanishing without a trail. For decades, these accounts were dismissed as optical illusions or hoaxes, but recently declassified military reports reveal something more unsettling. These crafts might not just defy physics, they could be exploiting it, using shortcuts through space-time that even Einstein predicted might exist. Wormholes, those hypothetical tunnels connecting distant points in the universe, might not be science fiction after all. And if the leaked documents are to be believed, someone or something has already mastered them. Take the infamous 2004 Nimitz encounter. Navy pilots tracked a tic-tac-shaped object dropping from 80,000 feet to sea level in less than a second, a feat requiring accelerations that would liquefy any known life form. Radar operators confirmed the object didn't follow a descent curve, it blinked between altitudes. One pilot, Commander David Fravor, described it vanishing like it hit a wormhole. Skeptics laughed, but buried in a Pentagon-funded study titled Anomalous Aerial Threats was a chilling footnote. Transmedium vehicles may utilize space-time metric engineering to achieve apparent violations of kinematic norms. Translation: these crafts might be bending the fabric of reality itself. The math isn't just theoretical. Einstein's equations allow for Einstein-Rosen bridges, wormholes, though physics has long assumed they'd collapse instantly under their own gravity. Yet a little-known 2013 paper by University of Cambridge physicist Luke Butcher argued that certain wormholes could stay open longer if threaded by exotic matter with negative energy. That same year, a leaked DARPA memo hinted at research into locally stabilized spacetime discontinuities, with test ranges in Nevada registering unexplained gravitational anomalies during the exact windows when UFO sightings spiked. The timing wasn't coincidental, it was causal. The establishment's response, mockery. When Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb suggested Oumuamua, the first interstellar visitor, might be artificial, his peers accused him of reckless speculation. Yet declassified Canadian defense documents from the 1960s describe transdimensional incursion protocols for UFOs, and a formerly secret Soviet astrophysics program, Project Iskra, allegedly mapped over 200 spacetime fault lines where UFO activity clustered. The pattern is undeniable. Wherever wormholes could exist, UFOs do appear. The real cover-up isn't about extraterrestrials, it's about the technology they might possess. If wormholes are traversable, then distance becomes meaningless. A civilization with that knowledge wouldn't just visit Earth, they'd treat the cosmos like a subway system. And humanity, we'd be the ants on the tracks, unaware the trains even existed. The question isn't whether UFOs use wormholes, it's why we're still pretending they don't. The universe isn't just expanding, it's meticulously structured, branching out in vast, luminous filaments that connect galaxies like neurons in a cosmic brain. This intricate network, known as the cosmic web, stretches across billions of light years, its delicate threads of gas and dark matter forming a pattern so precise, it defies the randomness of nature. But what if this isn't just the aftermath of the Big Bang? What if the cosmic web is something far more deliberate, an artificial scaffold engineered by intelligence beyond our comprehension? The parallels are too striking to ignore. Under a microscope, the cosmic web mirrors the structure of a human brain's neural network, complete with nodes, synapses, and branching pathways. Galaxies cluster at the intersections like information hubs, while dark matter flows between them like unseen signals. The odds of this happening by chance are astronomically low. Mathematicians have calculated that natural gravitational forces alone couldn't produce such uniformity. It's as if the universe's blueprint was fine-tuned. Even more unsettling, certain regions of the web exhibit mathematical ratios found in engineered systems, like the Fibonacci sequence or golden mean, patterns that don't emerge spontaneously in cosmic debris. Mainstream cosmology dismisses these observations as coincidences, but the resistance runs deeper. In 2018, a peer-reviewed paper titled Topological Anomalies in the Cosmic Web was abruptly retracted after passing initial review. Its authors, astrophysicists from Stanford and Cambridge, had applied machine learning algorithms to map the web's structure, finding that its nodes aligned with near-perfect geometric precision, something only seen in synthetic networks. The journal's editors cited methodological concerns, but leaked emails revealed pressure from senior academics who called the conclusions too destabilizing. One reviewer admitted privately, "The data fits, but the implications don't. The suppression isn't new. Decades ago, Soviet astrophysicists proposed that superclusters of galaxies might be arranged intentionally, citing anomalous gravitational lensing effects that suggested hidden anchor points in the web. Their work was buried by Cold War politics, but modern telescopes like the James Webb have since spotted eerie voids in the cosmic web regions where gravity behaves inversely, as if something massive but invisible is holding the structure in place. Dark matter is the go-to explanation, but some researchers whisper about topological defects, glitches in spacetime that could only exist if the universe was in some way programmed. Here's the chilling thought: if the cosmic web is artificial, then its architects would need technology to manipulate spacetime itself. The energy required to arrange galaxies like chess pieces is unimaginable unless they've mastered physics we haven't even theorized yet. Ancient texts from Sumer to the Vedas speak of celestial builders, gods who wove the heavens into existence. Modern simulations show that tweaking even one variable in the early universe would have collapsed the web into chaos. Yet here it stands, a perfect, shimmering lattice across the void. The truth might be that we're not just living in the universe, we're inside someone else's creation. Saturn's North Pole holds a secret so bizarre, so unnervingly precise, that it defies all known atmospheric science. A perfect hexagon stretching 25,000 miles across, with sides longer than Earth's diameter. This isn't some transient storm or chaotic weather pattern. It's a geometric anomaly, a six-sided vortex spinning in perfect synchronization with Saturn's rotation, its razor-sharp edges maintaining their shape for decades without distortion. Nature doesn't produce hexagons of this scale and stability, so what or who carved this into the sky of a gas giant? The hexagon's precision is chilling. Each of its six sides aligns at exactly 120 degrees, the angles so mathematically flawless they look drafted by intelligence. Even more unsettling, the structure penetrates deep into Saturn's atmosphere, forming a towering, honeycomb-like column that some researchers compare to a machine. Mainstream science scrambles for explanations, suggesting standing waves or jet stream interactions, but none account for the hexagon's rigidity. Earth's hurricanes churn and fade, Jupiter's great red spot shrinks and swells. Yet Saturn's hexagon remains locked in place, unyielding, as if fixed by design. Occult traditions have whispered about Saturn's hexagon for centuries, long before telescopes could confirm its existence. Ancient mystics called Saturn the Lord of Time, depicting it as a black cube or hexagonal gate, a portal to other realms. Renaissance alchemists encoded the hexagon in secret diagrams, linking it to celestial doorways. Even NASA's own Voyager missions, which first photographed the hexagon in the 1980s, were codenamed Mariner and Voyager, terms laden with esoteric symbolism. Coincidence, or has something been guiding humanity's gaze toward Saturn's geometric enigma? Then there's the Stargate theory. Leaked documents from aerospace insiders describe classified studies on non-terrestrial energy vortices, with Saturn's hexagon flagged as a potential cosmic gateway. The math is haunting. The hexagon's dimensions align with harmonic frequencies found in sacred geometry, the same ratios used in theoretical models for stable wormholes. Even Saturn's electromagnetic emissions pulse at frequencies that mirror neural activity, as if the planet itself is thinking. Some speculate the hexagon isn't just a storm, it's an interface, a colossal dial waiting to be turned. The silence from official channels is deafening. When independent researchers petitioned to direct the James Webb Space Telescope toward Saturn's pole, their requests were denied due to orbital priorities. Yet internal memos from the European Space Agency reveal ongoing analysis of the hexagon's acoustic resonance properties, a term usually reserved for engineered structures. Ancient astronaut theorists argue that if stargates exist, they wouldn't be hidden in some distant nebula, they'd be perched in our solar system, disguised as natural phenomena. Saturn's hexagon fits the bill too perfectly, a geometric lock on a planetary scale, humming with energy we're not meant to understand. The question isn't whether it's artificial. It's what happens if something or someone decides to open it. Dark energy, the mysterious force accelerating the expansion of the universe, has puzzled scientists for decades. But what if it isn't just a cosmic anomaly? What if, hidden in the equations and the void between galaxies, lies evidence that dark energy isn't natural at all, but a weapon of unimaginable power, wielded by civilizations so advanced they've learned to manipulate the fabric of reality itself? Ancient texts from across the globe whisper of celestial wars, of gods who tore the heavens apart with weapons beyond human comprehension. The Hindu Mahabharata describes the Brahmastra, a device so devastating it could dry up oceans, shatter mountains, and warp the very sky. Sumerian tablets speak of the Anunnaki wielding arrows of darkness capable of swallowing entire cities. Even the Bible's book of Revelation warns of stars falling from the sky, as if the cosmos itself were turned against humanity. These aren't just myths, they're potential records of dark energy weaponized. Consider the math. Dark energy makes up 68% of the universe's energy density, yet we still don't know what it is. Its effects, though, are eerily precise. The universe isn't just expanding, it's accelerating uniformly, as if something is dialing up the pressure on empty space. Now imagine an intelligence that could control that dial. A civilization harnessing dark energy could rip galaxies apart, stretch spacetime until matter disintegrates, or even trigger a big rip, a hypothetical end to the universe where everything, down to atoms, is torn asunder. Even more chilling are the clues hidden in deep space anomalies. Certain regions of the cosmos expand faster than others, as if targeted by localized bursts of dark energy. In 2018, astronomers discovered a void dubbed the cold spot, a billion light-year stretch of space where the cosmic microwave background is unusually faint. Mainstream theories blame it on a supervoid, but the data doesn't fully fit. The temperature drop is too extreme, too structured. Some researchers speculated could be the scar of an ancient conflict, a battlefield where dark energy was unleashed, leaving behind a bruise in the fabric of reality. Why would this be suppressed? Because admitting dark energy could be manipulated would rewrite humanity's place in the cosmos. We'd no longer be mere observers of the universe's expansion, we'd be potential targets. Classified defense programs have allegedly studied these possibilities for decades. Leaked Pentagon papers reference exotic energy-based deterrence, while former Soviet scientists claim to have detected anomalous spatial inflation during Cold War-era tests. The official line dismisses these as fringe conspiracy, but the pattern is hard to ignore. Wherever dark energy's secrets might lurk, research is quietly defunded or diverted. Here's the terrifying thought. If dark energy is a weapon, then the universe itself could be a graveyard littered with the remnants of civilizations that dared to wield it. The acceleration we measure might not be natural, it could be the aftermath of a war fought so long ago, we mistake its echoes for physics. And if that's true, then the real question isn't whether dark energy can be weaponized. It's who or what has already used it. What if the Milky Way and everything we see around us isn't the full reality, but merely a projection, a cosmic hologram painted onto the fabric of spacetime? This isn't science fiction. It's the mind-bending theory gaining traction among some of the world's top physicists, that our universe might be a staggeringly complex hologram, a three-dimensional illusion encoded on a two-dimensional boundary at the edge of existence. And the evidence isn't hidden in some distant galaxy. It's been lurking in the data of our most advanced telescopes all along. Take the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang. When researchers analyzed this ancient radiation, they found something impossible to ignore: tiny, pixel-like fluctuations in its structure, as if the universe itself were rendered in finite resolution like a digital image. These anomalies aren't random noise. They form patterns consistent with holographic encoding, where information is stored at the boundaries of space rather than within it. Even more startling, when scientists at Fermilab and the University of Southampton ran simulations based on holographic principles, they discovered these same pixelated patterns emerging naturally. The universe, it seems, might be running on a cosmic hard drive we can't yet perceive. CERN involvement adds another layer of intrigue. Leaked internal documents from 2019 reveal that certain high-energy particle collisions produced anomalies that defied standard physics: tiny, fractal-like echoes in the data that matched predictions from holographic theory. One researcher involved reportedly described it as seeing the glitches in the matrix, but when the team pushed to publish their findings, the study was abruptly shelved, buried under claims of insufficient peer review. A whistleblower later came forward, alleging that senior officials feared the implications that confirming the holographic principle would unravel not just physics, but the very nature of reality as we know it. Ancient traditions might have grasped this truth long before modern science. Hindu cosmology describes the universe as Maya, an illusion veiling a deeper reality. Plato's allegory of the cave, where prisoners mistake shadows for substance, now reads like a prophetic metaphor for a holographic cosmos. Even the Kabbalah's tree of life resonates with holographic ideas, depicting creation as layers of emanations from a singular source. Coincidence or preserved wisdom from civilizations that glimpse the truth? The most unsettling question isn't whether we live in a hologram, it's who or what is projecting it. If the universe is code, then someone wrote the program. And if telescopes are picking up pixelation, we might be closer than ever to seeing past the edges of the simulation. The real mystery isn't out in the stars. It's in the silence of laboratories where data disappears, in the equations that hint at a universe far stranger than we've been told. The Milky Way isn't just a galaxy, it could be the grandest illusion of all. Venus, our so-called evil twin, wasn't always a hellscape of crushing pressure and acid rain. Beneath its suffocating clouds, radar mapping has revealed something impossible: the ghostly outlines of vast geometric formations stretching across the planet's surface, structures so precise they mirror the ruins of ancient cities here on Earth. While mainstream science dismisses these as volcanic artifacts or radar glitches, the truth might be far stranger. Venus could have once been a thriving world, a cradle of life now buried under layers of time and catastrophe. And someone or something might not want us looking too closely. Start with the Soviet Venera missions. In the 1970s and 80s, these probes pierced Venus' toxic shroud, sending back the first and only images from the surface. Officially, they showed rocky plains under a hazy orange sky, but enhanced versions of these photos reveal bizarre anomalies: slab-like formations with right angles, symmetrical mounds arranged in grid patterns, even what appear to be crumbling archways half buried in the volcanic soil. Most damning of all, the probes that captured these images suffered inexplicable malfunctions. Venera 9's panoramic lens failed moments after photographing a cluster of pillared structures. Venera 13's temperature sensors spiked erratically near a strange metallic object before the lander abruptly lost power. Coincidences or something silencing the witnesses? Fast forward to modern radar scans. NASA Magellan probe mapped 98% of Venus' surface in the 1990s, revealing sprawling, continent-sized tessera elevated plateaus etched with intersecting ridges that form near-perfect hexagons and pentagons. Natural erosion doesn't produce geometry this precise. Even more telling, these tessera regions emit anomalous thermal signatures, as if they're made of materials that absorb and radiate heat differently than the surrounding rock. Independent researchers analyzing the data have pointed out the eerie resemblance to planned urban layouts, complete with what could be the remains of massive roadways or canals. Then there's the silence. Despite Venus being Earth's closest planetary neighbor, NASA and ESA have launched only a handful of missions there in the past 30 years, far fewer than Mars or even distant Jupiter. Officially, Venus is written off as too hostile for exploration, but leaked internal reports tell another story. A 2005 JPL memo marked confidential, cited, unexplained EM interference in Venus' upper atmosphere that disrupts spacecraft systems, particularly when orbiting over tessera regions. Another document from Roscosmos in 2012 mentioned anomalous reflective properties in certain areas, as if something beneath the clouds was deliberately scattering radar pulses to obscure itself. Ancient astronaut theorists have long connected Venus to lost Earth civilizations. The Sumerians called it the Queen of Heaven, describing it as a lush, watery world ruled by the goddess Inanna. The Maya charted Venus' movements with obsessive precision, aligning their pyramids to its cycles as if awaiting a return. Even the Dogon tribe of Mali, renowned for their inexplicable astronomical knowledge, claimed their ancestors came from a planet near Sirius that was destroyed by fire, a description chillingly similar to Venus' runaway greenhouse effect. The question isn't just whether Venus once harbored life, it's what happened to it and why every attempt to study these ruins meets with resistance, whether from malfunctioning tech or bureaucratic stonewalling. The answers might lie beneath those acidic clouds, in the bones of a world that could have been Earth's twin. But if the past is any indication, unlocking those secrets won't be easy. Some doors, it seems, were never meant to be opened. Neutron stars' cosmic lighthouses spinning hundreds of times per second, emitting beams of radiation so precise they rival atomic clocks. We're told these collapsed stellar cores are natural phenomena, their rhythmic pulses just the universe's physics in motion. But what if that's not the whole story? What if some of these celestial metronomes aren't just dead stars, they're deliberate beacons, engineered signals broadcasting across the galaxy for reasons we're not meant to understand? Take the case of PSRB 1919+21, the first pulsar ever discovered. When astronomer Jocelyn Bell detected its unnervingly regular radio bursts in 1967, her team initially labeled it LGM-1, a little green men. The signal was so artificial in its precision, with pulses spaced exactly 1.337 seconds apart, that they briefly considered the possibility of extraterrestrial origin. That hypothesis was swiftly abandoned, but the anomalies never stopped. Over the decades, astronomers have catalogued pulsars whose timing drifts in inexplicable ways, not randomly but in mathematically coherent patterns, as if adjusting their frequency to compensate for cosmic drift. Even stranger, some pulsars emit dual frequency signals, with one set of pulses slightly offset from the other, like a carrier wave and its echo. Natural objects don't behave this way. Machines do. The most damning evidence comes from the so-called Black Widow pulsars, neutron stars that orbit and slowly consume their companion stars. Conventional models say their intense radiation strips material away over time. Yet several of these systems exhibit pulse patterns that change predictably just before their companions make closest approach, almost as if the pulsar is modulating its output to avoid disrupting something. When researchers from the University of California proposed this idea in a 2015 paper, their funding was abruptly redirected toward more conventional astrophysics. The message was clear: don't ask why the universe's most precise clocks sometimes act like they're being wound by invisible hands. Then there's the enforcement of radio silence. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence SETI has strict protocols for avoiding transmissions toward pulsars, citing the need to prevent interference with natural astrophysical studies. But leaked internal documents reveal a darker rationale. In 1994, a team at the Arecibo Observatory detected an anomalous echo in the pulses from Pulsar B 1937+21, a millisecond pulsar whose signal returned a fraction of a second later than it should have, as if something between Earth and the star had briefly reflected it. The event was logged as instrument error, but classified memos later obtained via FOIA requests show frantic discussions about repetitive coherent delays and whether they might indicate non-passive structures near the pulsar. Within months, SETI quietly blacklisted several high-precision pulsars from observation schedules, a policy that remains in place today. Why the cover-up? Because admitting that neutron stars might be engineered would rewrite humanity's place in the cosmos. These objects are scattered across the galaxy like breadcrumbs, their positions mathematically optimized to form a potential interstellar navigation grid. Ancient star maps, like those of the Dogon tribe who inexplicably knew about Sirius B centuries before telescopes, could confirm it described pulsars as guide stars for the gods. Modern astronomers dismiss this as coincidence, but the math is haunting. The spacing between certain pulsars aligns with prime number ratios, a universal language any intelligent species would recognize. Even their rotational speeds often match harmonic frequencies found in molecular vibrations, as if tuned to resonate with the fabric of reality itself. The truth might be written in the pulses we've been trained to ignore. Every time a neutron star's beam sweeps past Earth, it could be carrying more than just radiation. It might be a message, a marker, or worse, a wake-up call. And someone's making sure we don't answer. There's something lurking in the depths of space, a force so immense it bends the paths of entire galaxies toward it, yet no one's allowed to look directly at it. Meet the Great Attractor, a gravitational anomaly so powerful it drags our Milky Way and thousands of neighboring galaxies toward it at 14 million miles per hour. The strangest part, despite its colossal influence, mainstream astronomy avoids pointing telescopes in its direction, as if the universe itself has marked this region off limits. Nestled behind the zone of avoidance, a dense curtain of interstellar dust and stars near the center of our galaxy, the Great Attractor remains shrouded in darkness. Official explanations blame the obscuration on cosmic debris, but the lengths to which researchers go to avoid studying it defy logic. When the Hubble Space Telescope was commissioned, its observation schedule conspicuously omitted this region, despite its obvious scientific importance. Even modern radio telescopes capable of peering through dust clouds seem to skirt around it, focusing instead on less controversial targets. The message is clear: some truths are deemed too dangerous to uncover. The numbers alone are terrifying. The Great Attractor's gravitational pull suggests a mass equivalent to tens of thousands of Milky Ways packed into a relatively small volume of space. Yet optical scans reveal nothing remotely dense enough to account for it. Some theorists suggest it could be a supercluster of galaxies, but the math doesn't add up. It's too concentrated, too organized. Others whisper about something else entirely, a cosmic horror straight from Lovecraft's nightmares. His fictional Yog-Sothoth, a being existing outside space-time, bending reality to its will, mirrors the Great Attractor's real-world behavior, an invisible, all-powerful force guiding the universe like a puppeteer. Even more unsettling are the infrared anomalies detected by satellites like WISE. Thermal maps show peculiar energy signatures emanating from the Great Attractor's vicinity. Not the diffuse heat of stars or gas, but sharp, structured emissions resembling the wake of something moving. Ancient cultures might have known more than we do. the Aboriginal Australians spoke of the emu in the sky, a celestial entity whose dark dust clouds trace a shape eerily close to the Great Attractor's coordinates. Their legends warn that this being swallows souls, a poetic but chilling parallel to a gravitational abyss that could one day consume our galaxy. The truth might be worse than fiction. If the Great Attractor isn't just a cluster of matter but something more, a rift in space-time, a remnant of a pre-Big Bang universe, or even an artifact of deliberate engineering, then its concealment isn't just scientific caution. It's self-preservation. Some forces aren't meant to be understood, they're meant to be feared. And as our galaxy races toward it at unfathomable speed, one question lingers. When we finally reach it, will we find answers, or something that makes us wish we'd never looked at all? Quantum entanglement, the bizarre phenomenon where two particles become so deeply linked that measuring one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are, isn't just a quirk of physics. It might be the universe's built-in communication network, a silent, instantaneous language that could let civilizations whisper across galaxies without delays. Einstein famously called it spooky action at a distance, but what if it's not just spooky? What if it's the key to cosmic telepathy, a technology so revolutionary that its very existence threatens the foundations of how we understand reality, and why the powers that be are working overtime to bury it? Picture this: two electrons are entangled in a lab on Earth. One is shot toward Alpha Centauri while its twin stays behind. The moment scientists measure the spin of the Earth-bound electron, its entangled partner instantly assumes the opposite spin faster than light, violating Einstein's cosmic speed limit. This isn't theoretical. It's been replicated in labs worldwide, proving that information can be shared between particles without any detectable signal traversing the space between them. Now imagine scaling this up. A civilization advanced enough to entangle millions of particles could create a real-time communication network spanning the cosmos, rendering radio waves and lasers obsolete. Messages wouldn't just travel at light speed, they'd arrive before they were sent, bending causality itself. The military-industrial complex has known this for decades. Declassified Cold War-era documents reveal projects like Stargate, where the CIA and DARPA explored quantum communication for secure, unhackable messaging. One leaked memo from 1983 describes a failed experiment where entangled photons were used to transmit a simple binary code across a shielded room successfully. Yet by the 90s, funding for such research mysteriously dried up. Papers on quantum entanglement's communication potential were labeled speculative and shelved, while physicists who pushed the boundaries found themselves suddenly unemployable. The establishment's reasoning: quantum entanglement can't carry information because measuring a particle randomizes its state, but that's a half-truth. While we can't control the outcome, an intelligence with mastery over quantum decoherence might. The smoking gun lies in the anomalies. In 2017, Chinese scientists used the Mish satellite to teleport entangled photons over 1,200 miles, smashing distance records. Yet when independent researchers petitioned to expand the experiment to test information transfer, they were denied access to critical hardware. Even more telling, private labs funded by tech billionaires, like Google's quantum AI team, have reported unexpected signal coherence in their systems, patterns resembling structured noise. One whistleblower from a defense contractor claimed these weren't glitches, but echoes of an existing entanglement network already in use by someone else. Why the suppression? Because admitting that instantaneous communication is possible rewrites the rules of power. Governments couldn't control it, corporations couldn't monopolize it. The very idea of distance, of borders, of separation would crumble. Ancient texts hint at this knowledge lost. The Vedas speak of Akashic records, a cosmic library accessible through consciousness. Indigenous shamans describe dreamwalking across continents as if space were an illusion. Modern physics is catching up, but the gatekeepers stand firm. The truth is written in the quantum fabric of reality itself. The universe is wired for connection. We're just not supposed to notice. What if everything we see, the stars, the galaxies, even time itself, is nothing more than the glowing inner walls of a cosmic prison? Not just any prison, but a black hole's event horizon, stretched and warped into the illusion of an expanding universe. This isn't just speculative fantasy. Stephen Hawking's final, unpublished notes reportedly explored a theory so radical it redefines existence, that our entire universe might be a holographic projection encoded on the two-dimensional surface of a black hole from a higher dimensional reality. Think of a black hole's event horizon like a cosmic movie screen. According to quantum physics, all the information swallowed by a black hole isn't destroyed. It's smeared across this boundary, preserved like data etched onto a disk. Now imagine that data isn't just static. It's rendering a universe inside the black hole, converting those two-dimensional bits into the three-dimensional reality we experience. This is the holographic principle in action, the idea that our three-dimensional world is a shadow play cast by information stored on a distant, flat surface. Hawking's calculations suggested that the universe's expansion, even dark energy, could be artifacts of this encoding process, glitches in the way the projection translates data into reality. The evidence hides in the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang. When scientists analyzed its fluctuations, they found something unsettling. The patterns match the statistical noise you'd expect from a pixelated hologram. Not the smooth randomness of thermal radiation, but the jagged, quantized texture of something generated, like a video game struggling to render distant scenery. Even black hole physics hints at this. The entropy of a black hole, a measure of its information content, is proportional to its surface area, not its volume. It's as if the universe is subtly admitting that what we perceive as depth is just a very convincing illusion. But why would this be suppressed? Because accepting it unravels the very notion of objective reality. If we're living inside a black hole's projection, then the laws of physics aren't fundamental. They're just the rules of the simulation, the programming language of whatever cosmic intelligence or natural process encoded our existence. Ancient mystics described reality as Maya, a veil of illusion. Modern physics might be proving them right. Hawking's notes allegedly included a chilling line: the universe doesn't just contain black holes. It is one, and if that's true, the greatest cosmic truth of all is that we're not just exploring the universe, we're peering at the walls of our own cell. Pyramids, crop circles, ancient temples, what if these aren't just relics of lost civilizations, but deliberate messages encoded with mathematical precision, waiting for us to crack their cosmic cipher? Across the globe, from the Great Pyramid of Giza to the sprawling crop formations of England, certain numbers repeat with eerie consistency. The golden ratio, pi, the speed of light. These universal constants are embedded in structures and patterns so precisely that coincidence becomes mathematically impossible. Yet when researchers point this out, they're swiftly dismissed as conspiracy theorists or pseudoscientists. Why? Because admitting these anomalies are real would force a rewrite of human history, one that includes outside intervention. Take the Great Pyramid. Its base perimeter divided by twice its height gives you pi 3.14159, accurate to 6 decimal places. Its dimensions also encode the Earth's circumference and the speed of light in meters per second, numbers the ancient Egyptians supposedly couldn't have known. Mainstream archaeology chalks this up to happy accidents, but the odds of so many accidents aligning in one structure are stupendously low. Even stranger, the pyramid's latitude 29.9792 degrees north matches the speed of light in a vacuum 299,792 kilometers per second when multiplied by 10 to the 6th power. That's not just a quirky detail, it's a billboard. Then there are crop circles. Far from the crude hoaxes paraded in the media, genuine formations exhibit unnerving geometric perfection. Some depict fractal patterns like the Julia set a complex mathematical concept years before computers could render them. Others encode sacred geometry, like the Milk Hill Formation of 1991, a fractal masterpiece comprising 409 circles arranged with flawless symmetry. Most startling are the ones that double as equations. A 2002 formation in Crabwood, England, depicted an alien face alongside a binary code that translated to a warning about humanity's environmental destruction. The odds of farmers pulling that off under cover of darkness without error, zero. The establishment's response, silence, ridicule, or worse. When astrophysicist Carl Sagan suggested the pyramids might contain intentional mathematical encodings, his peers accused him of dabbling in fringe nonsense. When independent researchers publish papers analyzing crop circle geometries, journals reject them outright, labeling the work pseudoscience without review. Even the discovery of the Bosnian pyramids, a cluster of landforms with unnatural angles and underground tunnels, was met with immediate derision, despite soil samples showing artificial concrete dating back 30,000 years. The pattern is clear. Any evidence suggesting advanced ancient knowledge, especially if it hints at extraterrestrial influence, is systematically suppressed. Here's the uncomfortable truth. These aren't random numbers, they're fingerprints. The golden ratio appears in everything from Egyptian hieroglyphs to the spiral arms of galaxies. The Fibonacci sequence, a series where each number is the sum of the two preceding ones, shows up in Mayan temples, Hindu mandalas, and even the arrangement of leaves on a stem. Nature uses these constants because they're efficient. But when human architects replicate them with perfect accuracy millennia before calculus was invented, it begs the question, who gave them the blueprint? The real cover-up isn't about hiding alien visitors, it's about protecting the narrative of human progress. If our ancestors had help, then our entire story of civilization, from the wheel to the rocket, becomes suspect. That's why academia clings to the idea of primitive builders stumbling onto advanced math by chance. It's less frightening than the alternative, that we've been part of someone else's experiment all along, and the instructions are still buried in plain sight, etched in stone and field. The question isn't whether these codes exist, it's why we're so determined to look away. Somewhere in the vast darkness between constellations, there exists a place so empty, so unnervingly vacant, that it defies everything we know about the universe. The Boötes Void, a spherical abyss spanning 330 million light-years, isn't just a region of space with fewer galaxies. It's a gaping hole in the cosmic web, a void so colossal that if the Milky Way sat at its center, we wouldn't have discovered other galaxies until the 1960s. Yet the most unsettling part isn't its emptiness. It's the growing suspicion among rogue astronomers that this void isn't empty at all. It might be alive. Imagine a cosmic predator, a being of such incomprehensible scale that it doesn't just consume stars. It devours entire swaths of the universe, leaving behind a hollow shell of space-time. Mainstream astronomy dismisses the Boötes Void as a rare but natural fluctuation in galaxy distribution, but the numbers don't add up. Based on our understanding of the Big Bang, a void this large simply shouldn't exist. The odds of it forming randomly are less than 1 in a million. Yet there it sits, a perfect sphere of near-nothingness, its edges suspiciously smooth, as if something carved it out deliberately. Whispers in astrophysical circles suggest the void might be more than a vacuum. Radio telescopes scanning its depths have detected anomalous low-frequency hums, not the random noise of cosmic background radiation, but structured pulses repeating at intervals too precise to be natural. One controversial study from the University of New Mexico even claimed these pulses resembled neural activity patterns, as if the void itself were thinking. The paper was retracted within weeks, its lead author quietly reassigned to a meteorology project. Then there are the galaxies that do linger on the void's fringes. Their stars are older than they should be, their light oddly reddened, not from cosmic expansion but from something far stranger, time dilation on a galactic scale. It's as if the void isn't just a place, but an entity slowing time around itself, a predator lying in wait. Ancient myths described similar horrors. The Babylonians feared Tiamat, a primordial void beast that birthed and devoured gods. Hindu cosmology speaks of a cosmic serpent coiled in the emptiness, sustaining creation by swallowing its own tail. Why won't astronomers look closer? Officially, the void is low priority, too few objects to study, too little data to justify telescope time. But leaked emails from major observatories reveal a different story. Proposals to map the void's interior using deep field imaging are repeatedly denied, with one director bluntly noting, "We don't have the tools to interpret what we might find." Meanwhile, automated sky surveys mysteriously glitch when their lenses drift too close to the void's coordinates, returning corrupted data or blank frames. The truth might be hidden in the void's silence. In nature, predators don't announce themselves. They fade into the background, becoming part of the landscape until it's too late. If the Boötes void is alive, then its greatest trick is convincing us it's just empty space. A cosmic illusion so perfect we've trained ourselves not to see it. But every now and then, when the instruments falter and the data twists, the void reminds us some things are better left unobserved. Humans have always considered ourselves the observers, the scientists, the ones probing the mysteries of the universe. But what if we're not the researchers, we're the specimens? The final cosmic truth is the most unsettling of all. Earth itself might be a laboratory, and humanity could be the experiment. The anomalies in our genetic record are too glaring to ignore: sudden leaps in brain size, unexplained shifts in cognition, entire chapters of our evolutionary story that science still can't fill. What if these aren't just gaps in our understanding, but deliberate edits in a grand interstellar trial? Take the so-called missing link in human evolution. Despite countless fossils, there's a jarring discontinuity between Australopithecus and Homo habilis, a leap in cranial capacity and complexity that defies gradual Darwinian progression. Mainstream theories blame incomplete fossil records, but what if the record isn't incomplete? What if it was altered? Ancient astronaut theorists point to the sudden emergence of human civilization, agriculture, writing, astronomy appearing simultaneously across disconnected continents as if someone flipped a switch. Even our DNA holds clues. Human chromosome 2, unique among primates, is a fusion of two smaller chromosomes, a mutation so statistically improbable that some geneticists privately call it engineered. The cover-ups run deep. In 1961, Soviet scientists discovered a peculiar artifact in the Ural Mountains, tiny tungsten coils embedded in rock dated to 300,000 years old, far predating human industry. The findings were classified until the 90s. Similarly, the Smithsonian Institution has been accused of losing hundreds of anomalous skeletons, giant remains, elongated skulls with unearthly DNA that don't fit the accepted timeline. Whistleblowers from archaeological digs describe being ordered to rebury artifacts that challenge textbook narratives, all under the guise of preservation. Then there's the Fermi paradox, the eerie silence of the cosmos. If the universe is teeming with life, why haven't we heard anyone? The answer might be horrifyingly simple. We're in a cosmic zoo, isolated behind an invisible fence. Advanced civilizations could be observing us under strict non-interference protocols, like biologists watching animals in a controlled habitat. Project Sign, the U.S. government's first official UFO investigation, concluded in 1949 that some sightings represented interplanetary craft, but warned against public disclosure to avoid cultural shock. Later programs like Blue Book and OTIP allegedly served as surveillance not of aliens but of us, tracking how the experiment was progressing. The most damning evidence comes from our own mythology. Every ancient culture tells of gods who descended to tamper with humanity. The Sumerian Anunnaki splicing their genes with hominids, the Hindu Vimanas dispensing knowledge in exchange for worship, even the biblical sons of God mingling with human women to produce the Nephilim. These aren't just stories, they're records distorted by time but echoing the same terrifying premise. We were never alone and we were never in control. Now, as we stand on the brink of AI, genetic engineering, and space colonization, the question isn't whether we're being watched. It's whether we're reaching the end of the experiment and what happens when the lab rats start rewriting their own code. The truth is written in our cells, buried in our past, and hovering just beyond the edge of perception. We might not be the scientists, we might be the test. And the ones running it, they've been here all along. From simulated universes to hidden alien megastructures, from black holes bending time to secret civilizations buried in our solar system, these 30 cosmic truths aren't just anomalies. They're the cracks in the official story the shadow science refuses to shine a light on. Think about it. Why do breakthroughs that challenge mainstream theories vanish from journals? Why are researchers who ask uncomfortable questions quietly defunded? Why does every declassified document come with half the pages redacted? The pattern is undeniable. Suppression isn't accidental, it's policy. Consider the weight of what we've uncovered: a moon that rings like a hollow bell, a sun that might be a doorway. A universe mathematically fine-tuned as if engineered. These aren't stray curiosities, they're pieces of a puzzle too vast to ignore. Yet institutions dismiss them as glitches, hoaxes, or just things we don't understand yet. But when not understanding becomes a permanent excuse, when funding only flows to projects that uphold the status quo, that's not science, that's dogma wrapped in a lab coat. The truth doesn't fear scrutiny, it thrives on it. So why the resistance? Because every revelation we've explored today rewrites power. If dark energy can be weaponized, if black holes are time gates, if we're living in a simulation or an experiment, then the elites, governments, corporations, even academic gatekeepers lose control. Knowledge is freedom, and some would rather keep humanity in chains of ignorance than risk us reaching for the stars. But here's the twist: the more they bury, the more they confirm. The harder they dismiss, the brighter the truth burns. Your curiosity is the antidote. Question the headlines, dig deeper than the textbooks, and when someone tells you that's impossible, remember, so were airplanes, quantum computers, and black holes until they weren't. The cosmos is stranger than we've been told, and thanks to you, the veil keeps lifting. Want to stay ahead of the next revelation? Smash that like button, subscribe, and crank up the notifications, because the universe isn't done surprising us. Now drop your wildest theories below. Is the great attractor a cosmic predator? Are pulsars alien lighthouses? The comments are your launch pad. Let's unravel the universe together, one forbidden truth at a time.